It seems silly to feel guilty over a crochet project, but this one has been sitting on my shelf for months, and lately I've been feeling kind of bad that I've procrastinated on it so much, and the feeling that I'm behind and neglecting my crafts has really just been sitting in the back of my mind.
But there has to be a balance between getting things done and not putting all this pressure on the hobbies and things that actually make us happy. Right now, I've been really struggling with this because this crochet project has been sitting on my shelf for 4 months. I haven't touched it, I haven't finished it, and I've been feeling really guilty about it. So this weekend, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I am giving myself one weekend to actually finish this project. And while we finish this project, I think we need to have a serious talk. Because lately, I've been realizing how deeply I've fallen into the productivity trap when it comes to my hobbies. And I think it's been kind of affecting my relationship with my creativity and kind of pushing me towards creative burnout. And that was a place that I was in a few years ago, and I do not want to go back. So I think I really need to kind of shift my mindset if I want to avoid that again. So right now, what I'm working on is this flower checker lace top. I actually have a tutorial for this, but I'm making it as part of an art swap with my friend Emma. She is a amazing and talented artist. She draws, and so she's making kind of like this sketchbook portrait piece for me, and then I'm making her this top. So I have the front and the body panels all done. Oh my gosh, okay, wait, I need to focus. What was I saying? So I have the body panels and both the sleeve panels done. I was really playing like yarn chicken with this one because I only had 2 balls of yarn left, so 1 for each sleeve. And when I tried it on, I was like, oh, these sleeves are a little too short. But I blocked them, and thankfully they were the right size. So all I'm doing right now is I'm adding this kind of like darker blue trim to the sleeves to kind of give it a nice border, make it look extra clean. And then once I do that border to both of the sleeves, I'm gonna add the same color to the neckline of the top just to kind of tie it all together. Shout out to Vanessa for that solution. So that's all I have to do this weekend, and I need to finish this project by this weekend because I'm actually seeing Emma on Monday and I'm gonna give this to her. So part of the reason that I procrastinated so long on this project, I feel like I had a legitimate reason. There were a lot of like life things going on at work. So crochet and like content and all of that is not my main job. It's kind of just like a side hobby that I do for fun. Because of that, it's kind of easy to, put it on the shelf sometimes when I'm really busy. So I feel honestly like actually okay that I wasn't as diligent about working on this project. Because yeah, I feel like I had good reasons, but I do just like feel kind of like guilty about not prioritizing my hobbies, and I definitely do notice like I'm not as happy. Like I'm usually in like a bad mood when I'm not able to work on my projects. So I've just been like really thinking about how to like balance it, because it feels weird to be like guilty over something that is supposed to like make me happy, and it just kind of turns it into like this source of stress, which is so unnecessary. So I thought I would just kind of like make a little vlog finishing my project, and then just kind of like talking about this as well in case anybody else was working through this kind of feeling. So it's 9 a.m. right now, and actually I've only done this much, but I think I need some breakfast. So I'm gonna go make myself some breakfast first, and then we'll continue chatting and working on this project. Okay, I'm back. That oatmeal is gonna be cooking in the background. That's why I love my Instant Pot. But yeah, I don't know. I just think lately I've been feeling really guilty about not being able to work on this project. And I think it's because my hobbies are really tied to my identity as like a creative person. It's something that I really enjoy about myself. So there's just kind of this like added pressure, added guilt, which just feels so silly. So I was thinking lately, I was like, okay, this can't be how we're doing things. So I read well, I audiobooked a few books, and they had some really good takeaways that I thought I could share with you just in case you're going through something similar. All of this advice is from a book called 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mere Mortals. And the whole concept of the book is that if you live to be about 80, you only have 4,000 weeks on this earth. And like, how are you managing your time? How are you prioritizing, that kind of thing? And what I really liked about it is because the author is like a self-identifies as like a recovering productivity like guru. Like he used to do, you know, all the tips on like how to get the most out of your day, how to finish everything, how to check everything off your list. And basically what the book talks about is reframing our concept of time as something to fill. So there's lots of good kind of nuggets in that book. I would definitely recommend like reading, listening to the whole thing. But there are 3 takeaways that I thought really applied to hobbies and this feeling of like hobby guilt and procrastination and all of that. So the first one is the value of a hobby is not really the end product, but it's like the process of going through and making it just as much, if not more, than the kind of results. If you only let yourself enjoy, you know, this future place or this future end product, you're rushing through and not enjoying, you know, the actual act of creating it. And the second piece of advice, and this one was a bit of a hard pill for me to swallow personally as someone who loves a checklist, loves getting everything done on a checklist, but second piece of advice is there simply is just not enough time in the day to do every single thing that you want. And that is okay. The advice from the book is to basically radically accept our limits and be okay with that. Just facing the reality that you can't finish every single project that you want to make, you know, every single day or every single week. And that's not a flaw or something to feel guilty about. It is just the reality and having to accept that. I think the first and this second kind of takeaway really resonated with me because I think, one, I felt guilty because these projects aren't finished. I need to have this sort of like end product. So I'm always racing towards the end and thinking about the future and like how nice it'll be like when I have this sweater done and I'm able to see the end of my hard work instead of actually being present and enjoying the moment and like actually creating and thinking of, you know, okay, how do I piece this together, all of that good stuff. So I'm just not even enjoying the current process of making this. I'm just looking for the future for when it'll be over. And that's just so silly, and I think was adding a lot of pressure and guilt because I wasn't doing the steps I needed to get to that end product rather than just enjoying the actual process of crochet. And then the second piece again really resonated because I felt, you know, if I could organize my checklist just right, if I could, you know, be really proactive, I can go to work, I can do all my chores, I can do all the things, and I can still have time every single day to dedicate 3-4 hours to crocheting. And some days, you know, I can achieve something like that, close to that, but a lot of the days, no, sometimes it just looks like 10 minutes crocheting, and that's okay. I just have to accept my limits, and again, that kind of alleviates some of the guilt of, you know, why am I not able to do it? Must be something wrong with me. It's just, nope, there just is not enough time in the day, and that's okay. Okay, my oatmeal's ready. Here she is. This is so silly, but I was really excited to make oatmeal because I wanted to use my new spoon. This is my whale shark spoon from the Osaka Aquarium. My boyfriend, Nono, and I went to a little Asia trip recently. We went to Osaka. I actually have like a full travel vlog for Tokyo, Osaka, Taipei, and Seoul up on my channel right now. And I'm also doing like a haul of all the things that we got, of course. And then I'll tell you the third takeaway in a minute. I'll let this cool down a little. Okay, and now for the third takeaway. So in the book, the author talks about the concept of convenience, and while convenience is like really great, it's nice for things to be, you know, easier, not as difficult, sometimes convenience also sets us up with unrealistic expectations. One of the examples he gave was, you know, the microwave is so great, it's convenient, you know, now you can cook a whole meal in 1 minute. But now that you know that a meal can happen in 1 minute, your brain starts to naturally go down the path of, well, I wish it was faster than that. You know, I wish I could have my meal in 30 seconds. So in the book, he says, you know, like humans are kind of, you know, they always want more, and enough is never enough. And so now I kind of applied that to hobbies, was understanding that the slow nature of crafting is going to feel uncomfortable sometimes, and that is okay. and to rather kind of sit in it and acknowledge it than to shy away from it. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I will be like, okay, great, I'm gonna work on my project, and I'll sit down and I'll do literally 2 stitches, and I'm like, maybe I should go on my phone instead. Because your phone gives you that instant gratification, and I don't, crafting, because it takes time, it does not give you that instant gratification. And so understanding that feeling, recognizing it, and kind of sitting in it and kind of telling yourself like, no, it's okay, like I understand that you might be feeling this way, but this is how it is supposed to be. It's gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes just because of the fast-paced, high convenience nature of the world that we live in. Okay, here's where I'm at with the border. I like this. I think I'll do, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm on the 3rd row now. I think I'll finish this one and do 1 more. And I think that will be a nice kind of width for the cuff of the sleeve. Okay, quick little tea break. This is a mug that I got recently from West Coast Craft Fair. It's from Modern Science Project, and these are absolutely my colors, so I had to get it. And I love how when you kind of move it around, it looks like the color shifts, which is so cool. But anyways, I hope that little ramble kind of made sense. I think to just summarize everything, there are about 3 mindset shifts that I'm trying to implement in order to just really enjoy my hobbies more and to get rid of this like weird pressure that I tend to put on myself to like finish as many projects as possible. And so those 3 mindset shifts are: number 1, just being present in the moment when you're creating and understanding that the value of a hobby or a project is not just the end product that is created, but actually the process of creating itself. So just being present in that. And so it kind of helps remove this pressure that, oh, I need to, like, in order for this to be enjoyable or for me to be happy about, working on this hobby, like I need to have this really, really great result at the end of it. And so understanding like, no, it's just like, it's the process of creating. Like that is the fun part and the part that you get to enjoy. It kind of takes all this pressure off of like, ugh, like it needs to be perfect and I need to get everything done. So, and then number 2 is just radically accepting that there is not enough time in the day to get everything done. So if you can't work on your project every single day, that is okay. There are limits to our time and what we can do. And so again, that's just kind of trying to remove the guilt from not being able to dedicate as much time to my hobbies as I would like. Because in an ideal world, I would spend all day just crocheting and crafting, and somebody else would cook my meals and do my laundry, but that's not where I'm at right now. And that is okay. And number 3 is just understanding that crafting can probably feel uncomfortable sometimes because we live in a world of instant gratification. So the next time you're working on your hobby and you have trouble focusing, or you're 2 stitches in and you're like, I should look at my phone, that is a completely understandable and normal feeling, and it's better to kind of sit with it and recognize it and kind of push through it instead of beating yourself up about it. So those are the 3 mindset shifts. Let me know in the comments if any of these resonate with you, if you have any advice for kind of like overcoming this weird like pressure that we put on our hobbies, because it's definitely something I'm thinking about a lot. But yeah, so I think we'll just spend the rest of the video completing this project, hopefully. It's about 12. Filming and kind of crocheting definitely takes a little bit more time, which is okay. But I'm really hoping I can finish it before Monday, because that's when I'm going to give it to Emma. So right now I just finished the cuff on the sleeve, so I think this one is done. I'm a little like scared that the sleeves won't be long enough. When I tried it on, it should be good, but when I kind of like place it next to the body panels, it looks too small to me. So we'll see, but I think this is good. So I'm going to do the neckline and the other sleeve, and then I just sew everything together, and that should be it. I'll probably try to get some lunch at some point, and I might take you along with me for that. But yeah, we're just gonna spend the day crafting, and let's see how much I can get done. So this is the other sleeve that I've been blocking, but it's time to add the border, so I'm gonna take out all the pins. But I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, but this project is part of an art swap that I'm doing with my friend. And then my next project after this is going to be another art swap that I have been procrastinating so hard on too, but it was mostly because I just wanted to finish this one before I started another project. I personally cannot work on multiple projects at once. But I'm really excited to go buy yarn for that one, and I think that one is going to be a lot quicker. And the style, it's like very different than what I usually make, so I think that'll be fun. It's a little more like edgy. But yeah, if you have never done an art swap before, I definitely recommend it, because you get to exchange cool art without having to pay for it. It's kind of like bartering system. All the pins are out. Blocking was literally magic because I thought, again, I was not gonna have enough yarn for this project, but after stretching it out a little bit, the sleeves were long enough. So I'm gonna add a cuff to this one, and then I just need to sew it together. I'm wondering if I should also add a border to the bottom, or maybe it's not necessary, or maybe it is. I'll figure it out. Okay, that border for this sleeve is next. Okay, I finished the border on both sleeves, so these are all done, and then now I just have to sew the sleeves to the body. And then I'm kind of looking at this sweater, you know, lying down, and I do think it needs just a little bit of a border on the bottom to just tie all this kind of like green accent color together. So I'm gonna do that, but it's about, let's see, what time is it? It's like 2:30 right now, and I'm getting hungry, so I think I'm gonna make some lunch, and then we'll finish this up. So the last step is just to add one more seam on each side, and then that'll be it. I don't think I'll end up blocking it again. I think it looks actually okay. And then I think maybe the last step will be to add a border along the edge, but oh, my back hurts. Okay. Okay, I'm all done. 4 months in the making. This project is officially completed. I think I'm going to wash it before I give it to her on Monday, just so that it's nice and clean for her and she can try it on, and I can make any adjustments if needed. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm glad I didn't have to buy any more yarn. But yeah, I will see you in the next video.